It's been palpable that the war in Ukraine is not going according to plans for Russia. As per estimates, more than 50,000 Russian troops have been killed, and there are massive losses of weapons and other war supplies. Ukrainian forces have pushed back Russia from many areas and regained control of large portions of their territory. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin has taken a major step in an effort to change the situation. In a rare address to the nation, he announced that a decree on the partial mobilization of its 2 million-strong military reserves has been signed. The decision, Putin said, was taken to defend the motherland, its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Putin said in the pre-recorded footage, only those citizens currently in the reserve will be subject to a call-up for military service. First and foremost, those who have served in the ranks of the armed forces. 18 to 60-year-old men will be drafted, beginning with reservists. Putin's address to the nation comes a day after Russian-controlled regions in eastern and southern Ukraine announced plans to hold what seems like sham referendums on whether they want to become part of Russia. An alleged document from the Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs indicates that starting September 22nd, traffic checkpoints across Russia will be manned by military commissars, and men eligible for mobilization will be technically rounded up for deployment. It's clear that unannounced martial law is also in effect in Russia. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why President Putin's mobilization effort will not help turn the tide in the Ukraine conflict. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. Use the code DEFENSE at the checkout to get an extra month free for the 2-year plan. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. For the people of Russia, it's gone from "I support the war, I'm not affected" to now being in the middle of it all. The harsh truth is now beginning to bite, and indications are that people are not willing to put their lives at risk for this conflict. They don't want to go over there. People in Russia have hit the streets to protest Putin's decision. Thousands of people are thought to be arrested. International flights departing Russia have either sold out or skyrocketed in price after Putin announced the mobilization of reservists. For example, the price of a plane ticket out of Moscow to Astana, Kazakhstan is 1 million rubles, about $16,000. The traffic jam at the Russia-Finland border piled up to 35 kilometers, or 21 miles. It's the only border still open for Russian civilians with Schengen visas. The ruling has an increased punishment for deserters, indicating that the Kremlin knows that people don't want to serve willingly. After more than 6 months of fighting with Spetsnaz, airborne, and 190-plus battalion tactical groups, Russia has achieved limited objectives. Several Russian soldiers who were pushed into the war front have revealed that they had very limited training and organizational support. It's well documented that there are issues with morale and discipline among Russian troops. The situation of the reservists will be worse, so new recruits will find it even more difficult. Modern weapons are lethal, and it's clearly visible in the kind of casualties being reported. All indications point to the fact that these fresh lads who don't have much training will serve only as cannon fodder. Just like 9 pregnant ladies cannot deliver a baby in 1 month, you can't turn an ill-trained reservist into a professional soldier in a few weeks. Napoleon Bonaparte stated, "The amateurs discuss tactics, the professionals discuss logistics." A modern army that had several months to plan an invasion is supposed to be well supplied with basic requirements, but this has not been the case with the Russian military. Logistics issues have plagued the Russian war effort from the very beginning, and it's not been suitably resolved to date. Russian soldiers in Ukraine had to resort to crowdsourcing their own equipment, including medical supplies and GPS kits. Postings on social media sites such as Telegram are filled with appeals for funds to buy first aid kits with syringes, pain-killing injections, and frontline medications. More men will mean more clothes, more food, more transportation, and other essential supplies. This will put huge strains on already fumbling logistics. War in Ukraine has put a lot of question marks on Russian weapons. As per reports, Russia has expended more than 70% of their precision strike weapons, like 250 kilogram, 550 pound KAB-250 and 500 kilogram, 1100 pound KAB-500 precision-guided bombs, Iskander and Caliber missiles. The problem has made Russia fall back on 20th century warfare tactics of indiscriminate shelling, which cause huge civilian casualties and can't provide swift victories. The Russian Air Force seems to be playing a limited role since the combat availability of the aircraft is low. Russian famed air defenses have been breached. On the 14th of April, the Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed that the Russian Navy's Black Sea flagship, RTS Moskva 121, has been sunk. The frontline warship had a triple-layered air defense system, but was unable to stop the 2 incoming Neptune anti-ship missiles. Viewers may note that Neptune is a subsonic missile, and most modern warships are supposed to reliably defend even against supersonic missiles, especially when they have to deal with only a few, like in the case of Moskva. Since that setback, Russia has been putting land-based air defense systems, such as Tor, on ships to prevent a repeat, but apparently this hasn't worked. Russian tugboat Vasily Bek was hit when it was transporting supplies to Snake Island and was struck by 2 Western-supplied Harpoon anti-ship missiles, even though it had Tor for protection. Several S-300 systems have been destroyed, and Russia doesn't seem to have any answer to American-supplied HIMARS. More boots on the ground can't cover up for such inadequacy in weapons.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.